Yeah, the dust is still settling after that amazing game at the weekend. United, of course, drawn Coventry in the semi-finals, keeping alive Eric Ten Hag's dreams of becoming the first manager in the club's history to win major silverware in each of his first 2 seasons in charge. And in the latest episode of Simon and Souness on the talkSPORT YouTube channel, Souness suggests it's not impossible that United win the Premier League soon.
I see they got everything right. Everything went right. 4 transfer windows, 2 years. If they don't
you think they could win the league against the current crop of Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal?
So for them to get it right, if they had all the luck going and every signing worked out for them, you're talking about 4 transfer windows, maybe 2 or 3 players in each window, and then the momentum they'll get going because they're United. But I think it's a couple of years. 2 transfer windows a year. It's a couple of years if they got absolutely everything right.
It's about
spending lots and lots of money.
It's about spending top money, but it's also about spending it right.
Well,
we've seen Chelsea spend £1 billion and get nowhere.
Yeah, well, they've spent £1 billion in what? Inside 2 years.
Chelsea, that's my point. So it's not necessarily just about how much you spend, it's about what you spend it on.
Could Man United not spend £1 billion inside 2 years?
No, I don't think so.
Probably depends on profit and sustainability rules again, doesn't it, to be brutally honest. Joining us now is talkSPORT Saturday night host, big Man U fan, of course, Mark Goldbridge. Morning, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Tony. Hope you're well.
Yeah, very good, thanks. What do you make of Graham Souness then, thinking that United could win the title in a couple of years? Is he being over-optimistic, or would you agree?
I don't know whether it's reverse psychology to try and ramp up the pressure on United. I think I was trying to figure it out there. 4 transfer windows would actually be about 2 years' time. I think that's a stretch. I think we're all aware it's probably going to be 3. And he's right, though. You've got to get every signing right. You've got to get every sale right. And you've got to respect that, look, Arsenal aren't there yet. It's took them a few years. Liverpool will still be there, I think, Man City. So, yeah, I think it's a long road ahead for United. And the most important thing is to get the structure right with the ownership, I think.
And Mark, I mean, the victory at the weekend was a big one, a very important one. But there was also, if I was a United fan, I'd be very concerned about how easy, and it's been this most of the season, United are to play against.
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, Tony, we're still coming down from, I think, Sunday. It's been a long time since we won a result like that. But look, you're absolutely correct. I mean, it was, first of all, amazing result. And United fans are absolutely buzzing with that because, regardless of how we played, and it was just gung-ho football in extra time especially, it's nice to get one up and over Liverpool. And it's nice to have a bit of positivity in what's been a really bad season. But you are right. They should have put us to bed in the second half. The amount of times it was like 4v2 and 5v2. And I think the problem with United is, and I don't really want to be negative about it, is but when you look at the midfield, that's where the problem is. And you've got Bruno Fernandes, who's, wants to get forward. Scott McTominay's had a brilliant season and he wants to get in the box. And then if they break, you've got 5 or 6 players in the box and you've just got Kobe Mainoo on his own. And if he's not gone forward as well, and then it's just so obvious. Anybody could watch it. I could get my gran round. She doesn't even like football and she'd go, all the midfield's exposed. So that's something that Ten Hag just hasn't solved. But then again, Casemiro didn't play at the weekend and we don't actually have a specialised holding midfielder. So I've seen people analyse it tactically. They're absolutely spot on, but there's not really an option to put 2 holding midfielders in there or even 1 at the weekend. So you sort of have to go, let's go for it. And that's what worked against Liverpool.
I've seen 1 or 2 of the papers are still suggesting the brilliant game that it was and brilliant result for Manchester United that it was. In terms of Eric Ten Hag's future, it doesn't really change anything. But if you go on and win the FA Cup, surely that does change things.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a lot of people last week sort of saying he's got to win the FA Cup to save his job. And I don't know whether this has echoes to Louis van Gaal, who won the FA Cup and still lost his job. But the big difference was there is that Van Gaal, at that point, there really was a tiredness about the team. These players are playing for Ten Hag. I mean, they've had so much opportunity. There are journalists around Manchester United in the press conferences who clearly want to change. And these players will be listening to that. And if they wanted to, and they've done it in the past, there's such an easy opportunity to go, it's Liverpool, let's lose 3-1. They are fighting for the team. They're fighting for the club. And I think that we need that, what Graham Souness is saying. If you want to have 2 or 3 good transfer windows, you need a manager in place that's going to clear out. A new manager's going to come in and give everybody a chance again. So I think this is different. And also, there's not a Jose Mourinho waiting to take Ten Hag's job. there really isn't a manager, in my opinion. So I'm on the other side of the fence. I think there's a bit of positivity about United. I would judge Ten Hag next season after he's had another summer transfer window, and see where we are then.
Mark, on April the 7th, you play Liverpool at home again. If they won that United in a sort of, whatever way they go about it, they get the result. I think that would make a big difference, because if you beat Liverpool twice in a short period of time, it would show that there are some things that are going right. And I think that match is actually more important than the cup game.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've got Brentford away, Chelsea away, and then Liverpool at home in a week. And they're all difficult games for different reasons. And obviously, at the end of the week, you've got the biggest game of all. If we can beat Liverpool at Old Trafford, not only will we cause a massive dent in their Premier League title, but also I think that top 4, top 5 thing is still just almost in reach. It's still going to be so fresh. It's actually our next home game after this home game that we've just won. So that's a massive game, Tony. And I think if we can win that, you're right. I think the tide starts to turn a little bit, because there will still be detractors. There will still be people saying it's not good enough.
Mark, we've discussed Kobbie Mainoo in the past. I have to tell you, mate, I thought he was absolutely brilliant against Liverpool. But there we go. Gareth Southgate reckons, and I'd agree with him, that probably just too inexperienced for the England squad. But with that sort of performance, it was eye-opening, to say the least. Look, thanks very much indeed, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.
No worries. Thank you.
Bye.
And you can catch the Mark Goldbridge show from 7:30 on talkSPORT right after every busy Saturday of Premier League football. Here's an idea from Dave in Newton Le Willows. We're talking about hatred chanting. If you're in the crowd and witness it, text message to the club alerting them of the seat number of the person who is doing that chanting, which I think is good, because then you're not putting yourself at risk, are you?
No.
If you're texting the club and saying this chanting is coming from seat whatever it is, and then the club have got no excuse other than to take some action.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.